So in my hands is a TaylorMade Sim2 driver. Now I know what you're thinking, you're a bit late to the party, but what you don't realise is this one isn't real. It's a fake, a replica, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to just see how good or bad these clubs are when you compare them to the real thing. So a few of my clients have had replica drivers and kind of really struggle a little bit with shots. And we wondered, is it down to user error? Is it the club? So I just bit the bullet, bought one myself, TaylorMade Sim2, but not really, 9 degree with a nice upgrade shaft, which isn't real. But when I took it out of the head cover, I was actually quite impressed with how it looked. But when we see the fake one next to the real one, you can really start to see some glaring issues. So when you put them down side by side, you can definitely see that the fake one, much brighter, looks much more obvious, even though the crown isn't carbon, it's only a sticker. When you start looking at the bottom of the golf club, again, the fake one on the right-hand side, you can see much brighter, definitely a sticker rather than carbon. And you can see, even though the blue is okay, very different shade of blue. And actually the weight on the bottom, you can see in the genuine one has got high MOI and low spin, whereas the fake has only got high MOI. Now, when you look at the aluminium ring at the back, you see a big difference. Again, the colour's very noticeable, but you can really read the forged aluminium on the genuine one, whereas it kind of gets lost a little bit, not particularly well finished. So I think when you look at them side by side, it's very noticeable this one's not genuine. But I've shown this to a couple of my friends without having the real one next to it, and I'll be honest, it took them a little while to get used to it. So I've got both of them 9 degree head. Honestly, I have no idea what that one actually is. Down to the lower setting, so should be 4 degrees open. I'll be honest, this one feels very heavy compared to the real one. Certainly the head feels incredibly heavy. Now that might have a little performance benefit, but I'm going to hit 10 shots with each, kind of give you some feedback on kind of looks, feel, performance. And at the end, when you're only spending a very small amount of money, it's not comparable to a brand new one. But is it one of those where you'd get better value buying a genuine club that's 2 or 3 years older? And I would, without even doing the test, I would think that's probably the case. But let's get on. Looks-wise, I mean, no comparison. Let's just see performance-wise how good this one can be. Right, so we're going to go 10 shots with the real one first. Now, I didn't talk about head cover, but to be honest, nobody really cares about those. So 10 shots, genuine, TaylorMade, Sim2. See how it performs. I'm expecting, just the way I'm swinging at the moment, maybe just a little baby draw. A miss probably a little bit further left. Feels kind of how I remember it. Obviously carbon face is the new thing with TaylorMade, but feels quick off the face. Even though that club face is set a little bit open, that little baby draw. See one of those just shaping a little bit more, but that's me, not so much the club. And kind of what I expected. I know I'm not quite swinging at my best with driver at the moment. Probably speed's going to be a little down on where I would normally be. And the little cut I've been working on lately, definitely a little bit more drawy, but that's me, not the club. So I'm not going to look at the numbers until I compare them side by side, but I thought that pretty much did what I would expect it to do. So move over onto the Imposter. So I made the comment before, the head does feel incredibly heavy. Now, the theory might be, and this isn't how it was designed, but theory might be here that the heavier head might actually give me a little bit more ball speed. But bearing in mind There is zero R&D in this. This is just stickers and trying to make it look the same. Be interesting to see how it performs. Oh dear. Now that did not feel like that should have gone over there. So that was very different. I mean, a completely different shape of shot. Appreciate this is still allegedly, well, it is open because it sits open, but definitely a very different feel to the real one. Wow. Yeah, so definitely feels like I'm going to have to work differently on my golf swing, even though this, in theory, you would think is set up the same, in order to get the ball playable. Yeah, I mean, off centre doesn't feel anything like as good. Does really feel tough trying to get the ball back to where I want. I mean, fair comment below, you might say it looks like that on most of my videos, but just a few more with the fake. So it definitely feels like I've got to feel like I'm going to hit this one more left in order just to get this even playable. And I think it's amazing how you can adapt as you swing. One final one. Right, so the ones out the middle actually felt pretty good, to be fair, and seemed to go pretty well. Definitely looking at the shots, there looked wider dispersion on these. Be interesting to see solely then performance, distance and accuracy. How much better was the real than the fake? Okay, so we can see almost 107 mile an hour club head speed with the genuine driver against 105. So definitely maybe the weight of the club head there making it tough for me to move the club quicker. Now ball speed at 161 against 159, pretty similar. But you see the smash, even though I'm not out the middle there, with the fake actually slightly more than 1.5. So maybe that extra little bit of weight in the head, creating that little bit more ball speed. So we see average carry 270 against total of 297 for the genuine, against 263 and 291. So not a massive difference in distance, but when you look at the dispersion, certainly the genuine driver, the white, much tighter, much consistent, kind of straight to slightly left with the draw. And definitely if you look at how much closer they are together, a couple of poor ones down here, but certainly the short right one's a lot worse with the fake. So you see distance-wise, it wasn't massively different. Dispersion, which I would genuinely say is down to user, definitely felt it was much harder to get this one consistently going where I wanted. Now, would you be spending, I think this was about £150, would I be spending £500? I think if your budget stretches to that, you should go along, get the latest one, get fitted. If you're looking round about that 150 though, I still wouldn't spend my money on that. I mean, I don't know whether that's a good fake, a bad fake, a performance, but the difference in quality is going to be huge. So if you've got 150 to 200 pounds or dollars budget, just look for something that's 2, 3, 4 years old, that's genuine, not just from TaylorMade, from anyone, and make sure you get something with a decent loft, decent shaft for you, so that you get the best on the best swings, but also those little mishits, you're getting closer and closer. So would I ever play something like that? Not at all. Was it interesting that how close it could be? Yeah, really. Bearing in mind there's a lot of R&D goes into the major manufacturers' stuff, but there's a reason they make those clubs so that not just the one out the middle performs, but the mishit gets closer to the middle of the fairway and more distance. I know you might not agree with that when you're spraying it all over the place, but always buy the real stuff if you can get fitted, and that way you're going to play your best golf.